Record it.
I need to switch to the little things. I have it in the wrong. There we go.
There we go.
Now I can see everybody.
Yay. All right. Well, welcome to our February team call. I'm so glad that you all popped on. I actually extended the invite to my Team Cup team too, so it's good to see like a few people jumping on as well. I'm super excited tonight. Like, I actually kind of got all giddy when Carly said yes, that she would be here. Because I'll share a story with you all. Like 2 years ago, whenever I signed up to be a coach, of course, like, you get thrown into beatnik and all of this stuff, and you start catching on, like, seeing people's names, and you get to see like different coaching styles. And Carly was actually one of the first people I gravitated towards early on to start like kind of following, just because I've always been attracted to like her vibe of coaching. And so yeah, I followed her for pretty much like my first full years as a coach, just kind of out there by myself. And even at my first summit, like, I was nervous to meet Nikki, but like, I didn't even walk up to say hi to you, Carly, because I was so nervous. So she's like, oh my gosh, that's like Carly Wood. She's like this big top coach. And the thing that, like, I just remember like saying hi, and it, like, once I had that time with you on our leadership retreat last year, it was like, I think it was just absolutely incredible, because the way I know that we connect spiritually and on that same level was absolutely incredible. Like, you're such an amazing person. Like, I still look up to you a lot for the way that you coach and the way that you run your team and the way that you speak, because you're very authentic, you're very genuine. And like, that's something I truly appreciate and what I try to put out there, because there are those coaches out there that literally run everything from the business aspect, and that's great if it works for them. But like, I've always been attracted to how like you run your business, because it's so down to earth.
You're gonna make me cry. You should have came up and said hi to me.
I was so nervous. Oh my gosh. But
that's how I look up to you guys too, and I was nervous about this call.
Oh, yeah?
This video. Yeah.
You're among friends.
Yeah, that's the wonderful thing, is that we're all here among friends, and like, no matter how far you get in the business, like, it's still amazing, because like, that's one of the big takeaways from Summit, is that we're all still people at the end of the day. Like, we all work just as hard as anybody else, and take control of our own destinies and build our teams. So if you don't mind, everybody go ahead and put yourselves on mute. That way we don't get the background noise. And Carly, I'll pass it off to you, and I'm excited.
Oh, I'm excited. Now you guys are making me nervous. Like, I have to deliver this big old speech. But no, I'm literally such a down-to-earth person. And what you said was very humbling, because that's how I try and how I portray myself in person, behind Facebook, in my real life, is, you know, what you see is what you get. And I showed Sean a video of me jumping on the trampoline. He's like, you are such a ding dong. Like, we're just normal, real fun people. But you know, it didn't really always start out that way. I like to share just a snippet of where I started, because a lot of times I'll get on these calls with coaches who've been coaching for a while, and I'll forget, you know, where they came from or how they started. So when I got into the coaching business, I didn't know my coach, Nikki Whiting. I was at a place where I was really lost, reeling with like a lot of grief. I had flipped a coin. Heads, I was going to go with my best friend on this boating trip, and tails, I wasn't. And it was tails, and she got killed in a boating accident that weekend. So I really, really struggled with so much guilt, and then my ability to like love and communicate with my now husband, which is so crazy to say. We just got married in November. I was so afraid I was going to lose him. I had all these voids in my life. You know, I was just really reeling and searching for something to give me a little bit of happiness, to give me a little bit of purpose, to give me a little bit of drive. And when I found a challenge group, and when I found T25, you know, just in those 25 minutes a day, after a few weeks, I was smiling again, and I was feeling like, okay, if I can push through this, then, I can help other people. So it's not, I try not to post a highlight reel, but it's not like, what you see, like the numbers of star diamonds of this, that, all that stuff is great, but it's not at the essence and at the soul of who I am. So I do want you guys to know that, because it's important for you guys to really know and appreciate and love your essence and where you are right now, not compare it to where other people are. It's great to get motivation and to look up to people, because that's what I do, and it's great. But, always remember that we all have our own journey, and they're all beautiful. They're all amazing in their own way. So I'm just going to dive in. I kind of put together 10 tips, and I took notes, so I stay on track, because I can ramble a little bit. But I wanted to start out with this quote. I have like this little quote box on my desk, and it says, your biography is not your destiny. Your decisions are your destiny. So no matter where you came from, no matter where you're at right now, no matter what's holding you back, it's not any of that that controls your destiny in any facet of your life. It's your decisions. So I feel like I talk fast, so I'll probably drink a lot. But so I wanted to put something together. Jason and I had talked a little bit about some different things, and so I decided to put together like kind of like a blueprint of how to go after what you really want. Okay. And you can use this for coaching. You can use this for other areas of your life. And if you guys have questions, like jump in, chime in, be interactive with me, because I'll just kind of keep going. So if I need to slow down, tell me. But okay, so the first thing is, in order to move forward in your business, in life, you have to let go. You have to let go of excuses. You've got to let go of past failures. Got to let go of self-limiting beliefs. Anything in your life that's not serving you, you've got to let go of. And that can be trash TV. That can be the things that you're listening to, the things that you're reading. I was an Us Weekly junkie and a People magazine junkie. That wasn't really serving me. There's other things that I could put in replace of that. I'm not saying don't have your, unplug, unwind, do your thing time, but just be mindful of what you're making that stuff mean. Are you doing that kind of stuff to escape, or are you doing that stuff as like a reward kind of thing? But you really got to let go of things in order to move forward. Excuses is a big one. Past failures can really hold us back, and I kind of look at failures as one of those like slingshot things that you kind of wrap, I don't know, at the gym, where you can like wrap them around your body. They can also catapult you forward if you let them. Okay, so don't reel them in too far. Maybe take one step back, but then catapult yourself forward and teach what you've gone through to your team. My motto for myself is, everything that I'm going through right now is because one of my coaches is going to come to me with this exact same issue. So it's the way that I look at a challenge. It's the way that I look at a failure, and it's what I make it mean. So make those things mean something powerful. Make them mean something that's going to push you forward, not hold you back. Okay. So that's the first thing. The second thing is your fears. Okay. Your fears are not who you are, you guys. Your fears are thoughts that you are creating in your mind. When we say, oh, so-and-so is going to think this of me. No, they're not. I thought the same thing today when I was jumping on a trampoline. Someone's going to think I'm crazy. Well, that's okay. What they think about me does not matter. It does not change who I am. It does not impact my life. It does not impact my greatness or my legacy. It's them wanting to jump on a trampoline. They really want the trampoline. So you've got to change the way that you look at fears. And by doing that, you guys can do a few things. Here's one thing you can do. You can write down your fears, list them out, and then right next to them, write down every single reason why they aren't true. Why aren't they true? Because you can ask yourself, is this really true? Are people really going to like say this about me? No, you don't know that for real. You don't know that 100%. So, and then when you do that, you can either on your whiteboard write down your fears and then like wipe them out, or you can rip up the paper, take an action behind it, because your brain is going to associate things with an action behind it. It's one thing to just say something, and it's another thing to create and do and put action behind. Okay. So the third thing, you guys, if you really want to go after what you want, is to master it with focus, okay? What you're focusing on in life is what you're creating in your life. If you're stressed out, if you're annoyed, if you're PO'd, it's because of what you're focusing on. You can change your focus like that. You can change your state like that. If you're bummed out, you can jump on a trampoline. You can do anything like that. It's a choice. You can really change it that fast. And it's a practice. Everything that I'm telling you guys is stuff I practice on the daily. I still get stuck in my mind. I still get stuck in things, but it's a practice. So be gentle with yourself while you're going through these practices and with coaching and with your relationships. I've really worked on with Sean reacting. Are there times where I still react? Yes. Am I gentle with myself when I do? Yes, because I'm aware. So the key is to be aware. What are you focusing on? And when I mean like aware, I mean our brain is going a billion times a minute. Like, have you ever been in the shower or driving or something? You're like, crap, did I wash my hair? How did I get through that? Was that a red light? Like, we're always caught up in thought and we're always thinking about different things. So just really getting aware of what you're focusing on. And a couple ways you can do that. I say I meditate. It's a practice for me. Like, I really do like have a morning practice, but sometimes my meditation, I'm like, oh, I can skip a few minutes, but that's just, what we resist in life persists. So I resist meditation and it's always on my mind all day. Like, I should meditate. I should meditate. I should have just gotten done with the 5 minutes and moved on, because what I'm resisting is persisting in my life. And you can notice that with a lot of other things, but you can do that, mastering your focus, by really getting aware, like having a key word or a key phrase that you say, like giving your other voice in your head a nickname, all kinds of things you can do. I've done that before. I'm like, yeah, that's funny. You're funny, because we have thoughts coming in from every side of us all the time. And if you get quiet and listen, you can really hear the thoughts from your heart, not your mind. They're two different thoughts. So yeah, be mindful of where you're focusing. And also, one thing that I really love doing that I've really started to apply is be mindful of the questions that you're asking yourself, you guys, because my question that I was always asking myself was, what am I doing with my life? Anytime something was going wrong, or I didn't hit a goal, or I wanted something in coaching to happen, or I wanted something, anytime I was like, what am I doing with my life? And that really boiled down to, am I good enough for this? Am I good enough for this? Am I really? So be mindful of the questions that you're asking yourself, because we're always asking ourselves questions. So get clear with the one question that you always go to. We all have one. Mine, like I just said, was, what am I doing with my life? But breaking that down really means, am I good enough or not? Okay. And then you can learn to ask yourself better freaking questions. So my new primary question, I got to look at it after I left. I got a few of them. Date with Destiny was, how can I appreciate even more in this moment that I'm being guided by my faith and I'm the light and love in my heart and for others? Doesn't have to be that long. That was my Date with Destiny one. But now I say, how can I appreciate even more in this moment what this is teaching me? Like, change your questions instead of being frustrated. Like, why can't I lose the weight ever? Change it to, how can I lose this weight and enjoy the process? Like, what you ask yourself is going to create what you focus on. If you're asking yourself in a negative way, you're going to focus on all the negativity associated with that. And the power of asking different questions, you guys, is so, so powerful. Like, and I always tell myself, Carly, life is not happening to you. It's happening for you. Life is happening for you. You can take the meaning behind something and make it mean any which way from Sunday. You can look at it as a door closed or a door open, an opportunity, a gift. So really be mindful of those questions and what you're saying to yourself. I love that one because it's been so huge for me, and I practice it still. I just learned about the question thing, and I'm always in practice with it. But you got to be aware. The awareness takes practice all the time. It takes practice. And I really, when I speak this stuff, I want you guys to know that I practice it every day. Like, I'm in yoga today and I was looking all around and I'm like, oh, I'm supposed to be focusing on my breath. Like, it happens everywhere, in our business, in our relationships. But the key is being aware, coming back, focusing, saying if I react with Sean, it's just a simple, I'm sorry, getting vulnerable, treating other people, other coaches, other challengers, anyone, like the way you want to be treated. The more real and raw and vulnerable you can be, the more you're going to open up for that connection. I'm stubborn. I'm a Taurus, stubborn bull. I don't want to say I'm sorry and admit that I'm wrong and that but that I want to be treated the way that I treat other people, inviting that love and that connection in. So, and if you guys haven't done, I wish I knew about Tony Robbins years ago, because for our honeymoon, we did Date with Destiny, my husband and I, and it was incredible. And we've done Business Mastery, and now I've got a Tony Robbins group going on with my coaches, and I can add you guys to it after this 10-day program if you want. But it's a lot of the stuff that he teaches is you've got to do things on repetition. You can't do stuff just once. And that's like our coaching business. We can't just send out 3 invites a week, read one personal development book every 6 months and say, why isn't it working? You've got to be consistent. You've got to be repetitive. And that's like with this mindset stuff too, with these rituals, you've got to be repetitive and consistent. All right, let me take a sip of water. I feel like I'm going a mile a minute. All right, so to truly succeed, you guys, in coaching or in anything in your life, you have to, number one, get clear on what you really want. What is the outcome that you desire? What you got to get really clear on that, okay? And then the second thing is, why do you really want it? What is the purpose? What is your purpose? Why? And it's got to be something that, is purpose driven, is felt. It's got to be something that's going to push you, motivate you, inspire you, light you up, give you fire. And then the third thing, if you guys can get to what you want and why and create that burning desire, then the massive action is going to come easy, because Beachbody has the 4 vital behaviors for us. But you've got to attach a meaning as to why you want it. I sat behind my computer for 2 months before I dove in, because I let fear control my thoughts. Instead of creating massive action to help other people who were going through anxiety, depression, like I was, in order to give what I was feeling, in order to connect, in order to create a lasting impact in people's lives, to touch other people. That's what I wanted to create. I wanted to, when we're connecting and we're giving, that's when we're really living. I wanted to give. I wanted other people to feel that ounce of hope that I felt, and that created massive action. There was no fear when I had that desire, and your desire can be something totally different, doesn't have to compare to anyone else's. It's just got to give you that push that's not going to let anything get in your way. I blacked out the first time I ever did a team call. Don't even remember it. Walked inside, I was like, Sean, I don't even know what I said. I was afraid to take a selfie, you guys. Like, I'm dead serious. I never took a selfie in my life before Beachbody, but my driving factor, my why, what I wanted my outcome to be was so much damn bigger than that selfie. That selfie was easy once I connected to what I really wanted to create. So be results focused, be purpose driven, and take massive action. And you can accomplish anything in your life with those 3 things. Okay. The 5th thing, I know I'm giving you guys a lot here, but it's all good stuff. The 5th thing is you want to get visual. You want to get in your body. How does this make you feel? What will your life be like? What will you be able to create? What does this look like for your family? And not just closing your eyes and visualizing, really freaking feel it, own it, get it in your body, get it in your soul, because then it's going to push you on those days where you don't want to push. You're going to have not only this massive why, you're going to have this vision of what you want to create. Sean and I were living in a rental home, tiny, 1 bathroom. I wanted to create a life for us. When I started coaching, we had $7 in our bank account. Money wasn't my driving force with coaching, but I wanted something consistent, something that I could be passionate about. And I wanted to create a life that we could come into together, And so you just got to visualize it. I visualized what it would be like to be in a clean house. Our rental house had these old dirty floors, and I just would visualize it and I would feel it. And I would do that, and I would connect into my why on the days or the times where things scared me, where I didn't want to push, where it was easier to just watch TV or not do my workout. I connected back with that stuff. And I can't tell you how powerful that really is, you guys. Okay. The 6th thing, almost done, kind of, is growing. So Tony says, if you're not growing, you're dead. I like to say, if you're not growing, you're not living. It sounds a little bit nicer to me, but it's true. If you're not growing, you guys, then you're not living. Our life and what we do is catapulted by growth. You know that boredom state where you're like bored and you're doing mindless stuff? Whenever I get there and I'm watching the ID channel for 4 days straight, it's because I don't have something that's pushing me to get outside my comfort zone, to grow. I'm not doing things that scare me. And I'm not, like when I first started coaching, the growth is what kept me going. I was like, oh my God, this is great because we're growing, we're living. Then I did yoga teacher training, growing, living, scary. Oh my gosh, can't do it, but I can. It gives you that fire in your heart and in your belly, Going to Tony Robbins, Date with Destiny. What in the hell am I getting myself into? Growth, fire, belly, all of that stuff. When you're growing, you've got that burning desire. You see how all these kind of things connect? So living a stagnant life and living in mediocrity, where we've all been at times, we've all know what that's like. I've been there. I still get there some days, and it's because you're not growing. So you want to grow by personal development, getting outside of your comfort zone, doing things that scare you, setting a goal for yourself. If you want to go to like personal development events, like Tony Robbins Unleash the Power Within is only $499. So you can make that a year-long goal if you want. And it doesn't have to be him, but my team is just on this thing. So pulling that example, but it could be anything. It could be a seminar. It could be a weekend with your spouse to grow, anything, a push group, Chalene Johnson, whoever you connect with, but personal development that connects to you, that's going to light you up. Really, you guys, I didn't do personal development for 6 months in. My coaches, I swear, probably are so tired of me talking about personal development. But I was that coach who was like, no, I don't need it. I needed it more than anybody, and I still do, because I am obsessed with growing. I'm obsessed with learning how to be better, how to create value, how to create connection, for myself, for my relationship. Sean and I probably would not have gotten married. I don't like to talk about this because I get emotional. If it weren't for coaching, that's how much growth we've been able to have. He spoke on our team call this Monday and shared his side of the story. Like, that's huge growth, didn't happen overnight, over 3 years, but we're growing. So it's not this huge growth spurt that could happen overnight. Yeah, sometimes it can, but it's growing each day, doing something each day to grow and then impact others, and then sharing your growth with your team. Share what you're learning, share what you're going through with those on your team. Even if you have a small team with like 2 people, show up and share. Okay, so I can go on for that all day. So I'll move on to number 7. Stop talking about it, be about it. Create action. We all have plans, like I want to be diamond, or I want to hit Success Club, or I want to do this. Why do you want it? Massive action plan. You see how we come back to that all the time? So really, don't just talk about what you want, be about it, show up about it, create a plan that you can be excited about, and go for it. You're going to fail. I fail all the time, and that's great. Stumble back forward. Don't be focused on the failure. Focus on the outcome that you want to create in your life, and every failure will seem like a fun little obstacle to hurdle over when you have that desired outcome as your end result. Okay? So don't focus on what could go wrong, what should go wrong, because what you focus on becomes your reality. You don't want that your reality. You want this your reality, Okay. All right. So number 8 is your purpose, your why. It has to be strong enough to push past any fear. And I've kind of touched on that already because they overlap, but it really does, because you're going to move past any fear if your purpose was strong enough. And I'll give you an example, a small one. It's not coaching related, but at Date with Destiny, I'm not a big dancer in front of people. That's not my jam. Like, I'm not like whatever. And we had to do some really fun stuff that I was jazzed about at the end of it. But my purpose and my passion, my reason for being there and growing with my husband pushed past any fear that I had there. I would have jumped on the chair and acted a fool. I raised my hand and talked to Tony a few times because my purpose of being there was so much stronger than the fear that was going to hold me back from growing into my greatness with my husband. So you can see how that attaches not just to coaching, but in any aspect of your life. And then number 9 is master your mindset. Like I said, this is a daily practice, you guys. So to recap, really be aware of your thoughts, what you're saying to yourself, how you're saying things to yourself. Like, I've really been struggling a little bit with max 30 and just feeling like puffy and all this stuff. So I'm in the mirror saying, you're beautiful. You got this. Don't care if your rolls are tough, whatever I have to say to myself, because if I focus on how slow I am and I can feel my glove handles jiggling, then I'm going to be totally out of it, So just like create, like be mindful of your thoughts, really be mindful of your thoughts, because they can rip you down just as quick as they can bring you up, So mastering your mindset with your thoughts, with the questions you're asking yourself. We went over that, but really get clear on those questions and start writing them down, taking notes in your phone so you can become aware of the things that you ask yourself on a daily basis. And the third thing was aware. Be aware of these things because it's a daily practice. They can slip away from us. They slip away from me all the time. Just in those little examples I've given you guys about driving, the shower, yoga, and they can do that with your business too. Your thoughts can overtake you with why you're not good enough to hit diamond, why you're not good enough to go emerald, why your challenge groups suck. I used to run really awful challenge groups and I just focused on the outcome I wanted to create. This is going to be great. I'm going to show up every day. People are going to love it. We're going to get results. Like, you can't just always focus on the negative stuff. Focus on like the stuff that you want to cultivate and that you want to have happen. And then the last little thing is, we get what we settle for, you guys. Settle for greatness, settle for passion, settle for purpose, settle for an outstanding life. And you have the power to create that in every area of your life. And then the last 2 things, I pulled up 2 extra cards, but because I love these little things. But one says, what stops us from moving forward, and is fear. So I really want you guys to write down your fears and write down why they're false and rip them up. And then the last thing is rituals are another word for habits. Your rituals equal your results. So your rituals on a daily basis, personal development, inviting, what you say to yourself, your workout programs, everything that you do, that is creating your results. So if you don't like the results that you're getting, and trust me, I've been there, I still am sometimes, then you've got to change your habits, your rituals, your daily actions to get the results that you want. That's all I got.
I love it. That was amazing.
Okay.
No, it was awesome. Like, I actually took like a few pages of notes and like would write down like little things that would jump in my head along the way.
Yeah, I was too.
Because that's one of the things like I've found like myself kind of like diving into a little bit more is more the personal development, just like on business growth myself, because that's where I know I lacked a lot of knowledge. And what's kind of scared me is like being successful and growing that business and what it meant to truly have a team that's growing too is like, holy crap, like that's freaking scary.
Yeah.
But like you said, just taking it one day at a time truly like does help you grow. Like one of the things that I jotted down really quick that's always stuck with me is whenever you're talking about like letting go excuses and past failures and everything like that. Was the example, I think it was in Buddhist boot camp, where he talked about that everybody's life is our own unique cake recipe. But what a lot of people do is if you're eating your cake and it's pretty bitter, is you take breaks from life, whether vacations or the fun little things to distract yourself, and you load on a crap ton like of sugary frosting. But he said the thing is what happens whenever you eat off all the icing, you're still left with the same bitter cake that was there before. So instead of focusing on like covering up the bitterness, he said, change your recipe. Like focus on which ingredients are not adding flavor to my cake and change up your recipe. And
I like that.
Yeah. And it's like we're no different. Like if I can do this and be successful coaching, anybody can. It's just a matter of why you want it. And, there are sacrifices involved. And I know that it's not, I don't want to say it's hard to do. It takes work, and it takes that hustle and that drive and that, you might have a goal that's pushing you like I did. I did not want to go back to my old job. You guys, I joked about that I was selling chicken tenders and French fries because I worked for Cisco. It was so draining. I missed so many things from it because the restaurant industry, it's all the time. So I had a push goal. You guys might have a goal that's pulling you in, so it could be anything, but, just really just know that in yourself that you can do this, but it does take that action, and weeding out, like you're saying, I love the thing, like not just having a positive mindset. Like you don't just go to your garden and say, I see no weeds. There's no weeds in there. There's no weeds in there. You got to pull the bad weeds out. You got to pull the things out that aren't working. You got to recommit, restart, and weeds are going to grow. So you keep pulling them out and you keep moving on. I love that analogy because it's not just like this kumbaya positive thinking stuff. It's really getting it in your body, making a plan, and doing it,
Well, I appreciated what you just said there because that led me. I shared with my Team Cup team this morning. I reintroduced myself to tapping, or EFT, and I don't know if you're familiar with that, but that in the beginning of tapping on your body, you're actually calling forth the things that are those weeds. Like I'm feeling anxious right now about, messaging 5 people tonight, but I deeply and completely love and accept myself. And you go through all of this, you call out what's bothering you, but that brings it to the surface and allows it to kind of to dissipate. It's really a cool practice.
I like that. Yeah.
And it kind of helps to reprogram you. But through that this morning, what hit me right between the eyes is, one of my biggest things that I joke about myself is my procrastination. That I put off an awful lot of things. I can find a million things around the house to do before I sit down and actually start personally inviting. So yeah.
You have to read or be on the time of your life. He talks a lot about procrastination, to-do list, busy. We do stuff to feel busy, to feel like we're accomplishing stuff, but it's not accomplishing stuff that gets us to our outcome that we want to create.
Exactly. And how self-sabotaging it is. And even like you were saying with being aware, even while I'm doing it, I'll know I'm doing it. It's like, what are you doing? Sit down and just do the freaking message, okay?
And that's where like that decision, that massive action comes into play.
Yeah.
And that's what creates the momentum. Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But that's great. You're aware of it. Now it's just,
Yep. So
trust me, Sean and I did not want to get up at 7 o'clock to do max 30 today. I laid on the floor for about 2 minutes of it, but it was a decision to make. Like, I think sometimes people think like decision making is like easy.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy if we let it, and it's hard if we let it. It's, it's about what we want to create. We didn't really want to work out tonight. I wanted to go to yoga, so we had to make a decision, and you see this in all areas of your life, not just with coaching. But the better you are at making better decisions, the more it becomes a habit and the easier it becomes.
Mm-hmm. I like that. So I wanted to open it up to everybody else. If anybody had any questions for Carly, or just any thoughts that you all had on this. Anybody? No?
Ask away, y'all.
Carly, when you were talking about, oh my gosh, what you resist, you persist. Can you elaborate on that just a little bit? Just like, so what it is that you like resist to do? That's what you need to be more adamant about.
Like if you're resisting inviting, that's when you keep persisting, like in your mind, I need to invite, like if you're persisting, it can be anything. Like you've got a goal and you know what to do with that, the steps to take to get there, and you're not doing them, then you're resisting it, and it keeps persisting in your mind. At least it does for me, and I'm sure I'm not the only one, but does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I guess what I got from that was like the questions that you ask yourself, like, where you're focusing your thoughts, and then how you said like what you were really asking yourself was, am I good enough?
Mm-hmm.
And with that, like, was there some type of like personal development book that you read on that, or just how did you become self-aware of those questions? I'm trying because I do the same thing where I like ask myself these random questions, but it's like if I dive more into it, it's like something deeper.
Well, we all have one lie that we told ourselves as a small kid. Something happened to us at some point in time when we were younger that made us ask, am I good enough? Am I not worthy enough? Am I stupid? Whatever it is. And so no matter what I'm asking myself, I identified what my lie was, like I'm not good enough. And so now I can break down any question that I ask myself. And not like there's two ways of questioning. Like when I'm talking about questions like, why is this going wrong? Well, how can I learn from this? What can I make? What can I turn this into? Like that's different. But when I'm saying to myself, like, what am I doing with my life? Why is everyone else successful? I'm not. Like that hones all down to the one question: if I'm not good enough. And there's a few different things. Yoga teacher training. I'm trying to think of what I read in there, but that taught me about that. A lot of the stuff that I've been doing for 3 years, like this is all coming together for full circle. That's why it's important to keep doing, is they all kind of overlap a little bit now. One book that I really love reading, you don't even have to read it. You can just master literally the 4 agreements. It's great. I'm trying to think. I don't remember exactly what it was, but like Tony Robbins talks about it a lot too, like identifying your core beliefs about yourself, your core questions, and then
Tony Robbins.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And just like you can I love this stuff. Like just like you can get yourself into a really crappy state, you can literally close your eyes right now and think about a moment in time where you were so ecstatic, where life was going amazing, like where you were so full of gratitude or something. And then I get goosebumps. Like you can change your state of mind like that. It's just that we don't do it, you know?
Yeah. Like Laura, like, cause that's one of the things like I try to do like with my why is more than just the visual behind it. Like you were talking about, Carly, but the feeling behind it. Like it's and it's kind of like Olivia Grace talked about this before too. Like your why doesn't have to be something that's going to be sappy or make you cry. It can be something that makes you angry or over the top joyful, but it's something that you need to like be able to close your eyes and like, okay, say like take your goals for an example. You said that how does it make you feel to know that one day you will be making that $1,000 a week and that you'll be able to walk away from your full-time job? Like what feelings does that evoke for you?
I mean, I can't even like really fathom it because it's like I'll have so much freedom.
Mm-hmm.
Like I won't have to worry about being in a time crunch every day or, having to figure something out if my kid doesn't feel well and just stuff like that, like.
Yeah. What else can you do with that freedom? Like keep drawing into it, like, keep going into it, and that's going to create that fire for you,
Mm-hmm.
What will your days look like? What will you be able to do? What will your time with your husband look like? Or I don't know if you're married or not, or you just cultivating all of that stuff,
Yeah. So
That's what I was thinking earlier. Like you'd almost want to diagram out what that perfect day would be. Like for me, it would start with not waking up to an alarm clock, to be able to just wake up and to have that sense, that time and sense of gratitude for waking up and not just getting up on automatic pilot and hitting the alarm and jumping in the shower and running off to work, but having that time and space to wake up and really experience waking up into a day.
Yeah.
And all the potential, and then to start dissecting. At least that's what I like to do. What I like to do is envision what that looks like, and then I can feel what that feels like.
Mm-hmm.
and that makes it even that much more real. And I believe it's there. It's every day I'm a day closer to it.
Mhm.
Yeah, and that should catapult you to take that action, you too. And then maybe it's like creating different daily habits or rituals, or rituals, habits around what you're doing. Like I really wanted to start a morning practice, so I spent, and you can make it look anything you want. Like mine, I've got my little thing that I do, but I based it on realistically what I could do. So I was not setting myself up for failure and then beating myself up because I couldn't do it. It's like, okay, realistically, what can you do? What's gonna, and then I can add on to that, as I go. But creating habits that are gonna get you there, and then taking that action.
Mhm. Yeah, and I found that's a good technique too, to pass along to your challengers. Like you said, if you're not feeling like you're having a fire or a spark or much interaction like in your challenge groups, we almost as coaches like have to learn how to create and connect with our own why first, and then be able to turn around and connect it to help our challengers connect too, because everybody does have, it's not just, oh, I want to lose weight and feel good and look good. But why do you want those things? How would that change your life? How would you feel? How would you carry yourself in life? Like, what would that change in your life other than just saying, oh, look what I did? Like, everybody wants that deeper connection, and that's what we as coaches can offer, but we have to learn how to do it ourselves first. And that just comes like with what Carly said, like just that daily awareness and practice of it ourselves.
And I kind of made this more general tonight, because so many of the coaching tools are there for us in the file section. We know what to do, but it's really creating, like what we're talking about, all of the other stuff behind that's going to make you do that action. We have every tool, resource in the book, like so much stuff that we have now that we didn't even have when I was coaching, when I first started coaching. So I wanted to really be able to help in like all areas,
Do you still have your door full of the Post-its?
No, well, that was at our other house. Yeah. So I have Post-its all over my door but I've got like my Tony Robbins poster in front of me, my goals in front of me, like different things around. I made this, I don't know if you guys can see this, but it's something that makes me feel good to look at, like all letters and notes and volunteer stuff I've done right next to so I can always be reminded of, the impact that I'm creating. So on days where I'm like, oof, I'm like, oh, well, look at what I've been able to do. And Sean came the other day. He was like, because I'll read him stuff that people send me or transformations. And he's like, you need to create a little book on your desk of all like compiled, like text messages from people, transformations. So when you're feeling like, oh my God, things aren't going right, you're not hitting your goals, you've got that to look at and to be reminded of the impact that you're creating.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Love it. Well, anybody else have any last little minute questions or anything? Is everybody happy? Oh, all right. Well, thank you so much, Carly. Like I said, just getting to know you personally has been such an incredible thing. And one thing, like you said, that coaching has opened so many doors that I never thought would have opened in my life, and has allowed me to meet so many people that I never thought, or make connections. And even, hold on, what did I write down? About how you said, like at the Tony Robbins thing, how your passion and purpose was so much bigger that it allowed you to step above your fears that were holding you back. And that is, I think, the most amazing change. Like even before hopping on every team call, I don't know, I've shared this, but I still have to take a deep breath every single time, because I always worry about saying the right thing or the wrong thing or everything like that. But I know what my goal is and what my passion is and what my purpose is. And part of that is to serve you all and to be there. So I just have to take a deep breath and dive in for it. It's just like joining the Louisville Market Council. my passion in sharing my story and helping people grow is so much more than my fear of public speaking, which is rather huge. But it's still like, whatever your fear is, like, tap into something bigger that will help you just squash it, or at least like tackle it just one bit at a time, or tap it.
Tap into it. That's right.
Well, and
You
what's
guys
the
are in amazing hands. Like, I can't tell you how much that you just mean to me, and how much being on this journey with you has just inspired me. You are a rare soul, and I love you to death. And
No, thank you. And I think we have a team full of those too.
I do too.
for having me tonight, and I hopefully that helped. And
Yeah, no, it was amazing.
Always does.
Yes, it was amazing. So hope you'll have a wonderful night. And yeah, like, I would love to know what your all's takeaways are and everything. So feel free to share in the group, especially for those that couldn't hop on tonight. So
Excellent.
thanks, Carly.
Carly.
bye, you guys.